You'll start first. Fine. Comfortable from the garden. Maybe what are slowly moves. Okay. Okay, today we are going to the last week. I thought to move on to next class, but you had a request about revision of the whatever we did. Okay, let's have a very quick revision. I will be very much a speed in this revision classes. Probably I plan to finish this week and the next week, not more than that. We'll move on to the next week after that. Okay. I try to finish the entire revision within this week, if possible. Okay. If not, we'll have one more week. And after that, within that 2 weeks, I try to finish definitely. From after that, we'll move on to the next class. Okay. Okay. Let's start with the revision. As we have the astrology and astronomy, we are not going to care about what is astronomy is. We are going to care about what is astrology. You hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you, Vanita.
The astrology is the model of the reality which interprets what is the condition of the cosmos at the time of any event, whether you are the newborn, the child who was born, or you are going to build a home, or whatever the things you are going to do, any kind of an event at the moment, the condition of the cosmos you're comparing against, that is it is kind of a reality. This science is the astrology. Each planet represents the energetic body. We understand that earlier. That's why I told you one kind of visually, like how we can think visually. Imagine you are standing on it. No need to imagine also, but wherever you are sitting on the earth, imagine you are here, and the top of the sky is the universe. So when you are sitting on a Earth planet, there are the numerous galaxies around you. So how that kind of the cosmos will affect the earth, will affect the you which you are inside the earth, right? So when the child was born, the top of the sky is divided into 360 degrees. So when he or she was able to receive all the cosmos energy, what kind of the energy impact the individual can have, that is going to be study about the astrology. So how the position of the planet, what is the position of the planet, how it impact the individual of the life individual to have kind of the information we can get about the from your birth chart itself based on the planet position. So that's why the natal astrology observes the position of the planet at the moment of your birth and indicates a style in which each planet component is manifested in your life. At the moment when you are born, that moment what are the cosmos, what degree it was placed. That is a snapshot of your, that is on what kind of the energy manifested in you that we can understand and observe through your birth chart itself. So that becomes your astrology. Okay, base of this astrology. What is the basic of this astrology? First thing is the planet. You have to have the clear understanding about the planet. Okay. Now here is my question. How many planets we have? According to astrology, don't worry about the science. According to astrology, how many planets? Including the shadow planets.
Vanita, screen not clear.
Screen not clear?
Screen not clear.
Oh, how is what seeing?
Only half I can see.
Oh, really?
Half
Okay, give me a second. How about others? Everybody was seeing the half screen only?
No, we can see. Sir, are you using a mobile phone to see the class?
Yeah.
Okay, that explains.
Okay, give me a second. I don't know how I can.
No, you can't do anything, Vanita.
Oh.
That's it.
Because It is enlarged size. The picture
So
is
I'm
enlarged.
going to tell you every word also, so you don't need to worry about it. So don't worry. So how many planets we have? We have the 9 planets or 11 planets? 12 planets? 9, 10, 11. How many planets we have, including the shadow planets?
11.
11?
Nine.
Really? In the astrology, how many planets we have? Okay, how many planets you can name?
We have 9 planets.
You
9 planets.
and 9 planets. Okay, name the planets. Sun,
Moon,
Moon,
Kuja, Buddha,
Kuja,
Buddha, Guru,
Hmm.
Shukra, Shani, Rahu, Ketu.
Awesome. The one thing we understand about the basic of the astrology is you have to understand the 9 planets. What are the 9 planets? What is the characteristic of the 9 planets? Where are the 9 planets living around you? If you sit in your room or in your home or in your workspace or in any kind of the public place, you can see the impact of the 9 planets. Definitely the 9 planets reside in one or the other. Even in the stone, to the stands, there's 9 planets will be there. Let's move on to the zodiac sign. So once you have to understand the planets, move on to the zodiac sign. When it comes into the understanding of the zodiac sign, we know about the zodiac belt. What is that zodiac belt? Once you are in a year, on the top of your sky, the sky was divided into 12 parts. So what is it? So the 12 parts is the 360 degree. So every one part contains a 30 degree. So on the whole, it was 360 degree. So every 30 degree, it's hold the constellation, the galaxy. What is the constellation? Is the kind of the combination of the stars combined together. Then the rishis and the sages find out the prominent figure from that group. So there are the numerous stars around in the skies, right? In the galaxy, there are the number of stars, numerous millions and the millions of the stars. But all of them going to affect the year? Obviously, it's no. But when the rishis and the sages understand, not all of the stars is going to, not all of the groups is going to impact the year, but there is a prominent group of the stars going to impact the energy in the year. So it was grouped into, the constellation was grouped together. They named it as a Mesha, Rishabha, Mithuna, Kadaka, Simha, Kanni, Tula, Vrishiga, Dhanush, Magara, Kumbha, Meena. So this zodiac sign becomes one zodiac belt. That is why we call it as a zodiac belt. It's 12 signs included, which I mentioned earlier. So that is our zodiac sign. So the first thing we have to understand the 9 planets and the 12 zodiac signs. Then we have to understand the houses or the bhava. What does that mean? At the time when you are born, when you are born one time, based on the latitude and the longitude, the sun is already raised. Even if you are born in the night or born in the day, doesn't matter. The sun already raised. But when at the time of your birth, based on the latitude and longitude, what is the eastern horizon saying to you? That becomes your lagna, that becomes your first house. So wherever it was in the first house, that becomes the lagna rashi. Already we understand that is a 12 rashis in it. Imagine you are born under the Dhanush. So that becomes your first house. Continuously, Mahara becomes second, Kumbha becomes your third, fourth becomes Meena, fifth becomes Mesha, continuously it comes around, Vrikshika becomes your 12th house. So every house understands each aspect of your life. First house represents yourself only, whoever the Jataka is. Second house represents the family, money. And the third house becomes communication, sibling. Fourth house becomes your mother, land, etc. Fifth house becomes your child. And sixth house becomes your disease. Seventh house becomes your spouse. Eighth house becomes your disease also. And the ninth house is your luck. the 10th house is your dharma, and the 11th house is your income, 12th house is your expense. So it's a single line of an answer, but every house have a different qualities also, which we are going in our next classes, which we are going to detail understand about every baba, how it is going to affect in your life. Okay, let's going into planet. Planets we already understand: Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Rahu. Among the 9 planets, 2 planets the shadow planets, because it becomes the cross section of the lunar node and the lunar and the solar node. The top node is called as the Rahu, bottom node is called as the Ketu. Okay, that's why I said earlier, the ascending node is the north node is the head, and the descending node is south node is the tail is the Ketu. Imagine this is the solar path, that is the sun path, lunar path, it is the moon path. And combined together, when it was the, imagine there was one object was rotating around an orbit. In the same thing, there was another object is also rotating. At one point in time, definitely they will intersect at one point, right? The north node becomes your Rahu, south node becomes your Ketu. Okay. How, when it comes into an 9 planets, we already know about it. If we understand about this, yeah. Let's see about the zodiac belt first. The 9 planets will come again one more time. Imagine you are in the earth, the sun is the earth is revolved around the sun, and you are living here. On the top of the sky is divided like this. So every constellation is grouped together, prominent only grouped together, not the one which is not going to affect. This was not included, but the prominent one was grouped together, and this group is called as a Capricorn. This group is called as a Sagittarius, which we are going to see in the Rasi Chakra. First house is the Aries, that is the Mesha Rasi, Rishabha, Miduna, Kadaka, Sindhu, Kanni, Tula, Vrishika, Dhanush, Magara, Kumbha, Meena. So when it comes into the zodiac sign, this one, it have to be in your memory all the time. You should not forget about the zodiac signs at any point in time. When you are learning the astrology, this is the very basic. Everyone remember about the 12 zodiac signs, right? Okay, everyone. Okay, now we'll come back here. So when the sun, there are the 9 planets in it. So every planet was revolving around this zodiac belt. It starts from here, wherever it is, it will finish one Rashi, move into the next one, like that. So how many days it will take to finish one Rasi? For the sun, it takes 30 days to finish one Rasi to move into the next Rasi. For example, if the sun was in the Mesha Rasi, it will be reside in the next 30 days in the Mesha Rasi itself. And once it was finished, then it moves into the next Rashi, Rishabha, and stays there for 30 days. 30 days is not a constant one. It goes here and there. Sometimes it becomes 28, 29, 30, 31. So approximately, on an average, they consider it as a 1 month there, but it was a 1 month time. Okay. So the duration of the finishing the entire zodiac cycle is 1 year. What is it? Yeah, I will show you here like this. It was confusing. Remember, the sun was starting here. It takes 30 days to finish, next 30 days to finish, next 30 days to finish, like that. It finished all the rashis. So in the entire zodiac belt, it will take 1 year to finish for the sun. For the moon, it will finish. The moon is the fastest one among the 9 planets. It takes only 2.25 days. 2 days and plus 4 days. It will finish the one Rasi, then move on to the next one. Approximately it was a 54 hours. So that's why the 29 days counts. The whole cycle it will finish in 29 days. Mercury takes 20 to 20 days approximately. In the entire zodiac, but it will finish in the 88 days. It goes like that. Mars takes 45 days, full cycle. It was an 18 months. Venus 30 to 35 days. So approximately it was 225 days. Jupiter is the it moves from one Rasi to another Rasi, it takes 1 year. So entire one zodiac belt, it takes 12 years to finish. Saturn, 2.5 years. One Rasi to another Rasi, it takes 2.5 years. So totally it was 30 years. Rahu takes 18 months to finish. So that's why the entire zodiac belt, it takes 18 years to finish. Same goes for Ketu as well. I know I'm going a little bit fast. If you find anything you are not able to understand, stop me there. Feel free to stop me. Okay, and quickly understand about the sun, 9 planets. What are the 9 planets that representing? It was not a complete list, remember, but this is the basic. When the sun comes into your mind, sun represents the sun graha, Surya graha represent your father. Soul means Atma. Ego. When the person was when you see the Jataka, you can easily identify this person have a dominant ego or mild ego. Definitely every person have the one way the other the ego will be there. But how you can identify the degree of the ego? We have the in the 1 to 10 scale, we have the highest degree of an ego or the lowest degree of an ego. That you can understand. All kind of the government related things comes under the Surya Graha. If the Surya Graha is in a very good position, definitely you will have a job. You can be able to work in a government job. Or if it was in a very good position, you will lead the good position in the government position itself. About your vitality and heart. When it comes into an organ, sun represents your heart. This comes into the moon. Moon represents your mother and the mind. Mind, when anything speaks about the mind, Moon graha is the prominent one. Your senses, emotions, nurturing qualities, your imagination, memory, water, any kind of the water or fluid in nature, or anything in the fluid in nature. Your feminine parts, lungs, so all belongs to Moon graha. When it comes into the Mars, your brothers, courage. If the person have the good courage or they are scared about everything, you can easily understand from the Mars position in your birth chart. If they have the very good ones, they will work towards the peace. They can able to get a position in the military or the police, or they can also if the Mars goes in a very good position, definitely they become a surgeon, particularly doctor, and they are much more interested in the surgical level. And any kind of an accident that represents the Mars, if the Mars was not in a good condition, the accident may happen to the particular individual. And your strength, your energy level, any kind of the weapons. And the weapons, the primary graha is the Mars, but depends upon the shape, depends upon the quality. The other graha is also represented. But in general, the weapons belongs to the Mars graha, sports, blood, and the surgery. And comes into the moon. Moon, when comes into the color, green is the Mercury. In the zodiac belt, if you remember the story, Sun is the king, Moon is the queen, Mercury is the young prince, and Jupiter is the finance minister, and the Venus is the cultural minister, and the Saturn is the servant, and the Guru we already know about. So when comes into the Mercury is the young prince. He's very intelligent. It represents the pure maternal uncles. Because it was intelligent, advised precision, commerce, trade related, any kind of the rational thinking, because the mind was working in such a way that they were very good in business. They're very good in speaking. If the Mercury goes in a good position, you can easily understand whatever they are trying to say. They can easily communicate to you what they want to say to you also. They know what to say, where to say, how to say also. Okay, not where to say. When the Mercury and the Jupiter combines, they know where to say. But if the Jupiter was not in a good position, but Mercury was in a good position, they know what they will speak very well. and intelligence and the skin and the nervous system when comes into an organs. Let's come into the Jupiter. Okay, among the Navagrahas, there are the two Acharyas. One is the Brihaspati, next is the Shukracharya. Both are auspicious planets, and Brihaspati belongs to the Devatas. Shukracharya belongs to the Asuras. There are the two both different flames altogether. The nature of the peoples they are leading is also totally different. Jupiter is a very auspicious graha. Among the 9 planets, if the Jupiter was aspecting any of the graha, their auspiciousness is also increased. So when it comes into Jupiter, it represents the husband, knowledge, wisdom, dharma, your spirituality, all teachers under gurus, any kind of the religious places also guru, for political and administrative positions also guru. When it comes into an Venus, for the male Jataka, it represents the wife. And the Mars is also represents the husband for the female Jataka. They are royal. They are when comes into the Venus, any kind of extravagant thing, any kind of the luxury thing that belongs to the Venus. If it was a plain mirror, that is the sun. But it was decorated, that becomes the Venus. Any kind of the decoration. For example, the bakery was not decorated, but if the bakery was interior very well, the interior design is very good, and it was decorated very beautifully, then that bakery also belongs to Venus. In your home, if you are decorated any of the room, if it was a simple room, it didn't have anything, just a plain simple room, that energy is the room. But if it was well decorated, the Venus energy will come in. Then your sensual, generous, beautiful creativity, the love, and Mercury is also love. And the harmony, luxury, prosperity, and assets belongs to Venus. Saturn, the Saturn comes into mind, the spin harbor have to be the representation of the Saturn. If your Saturn was in any of the Jatakas, if the Saturn was good energy or bad energy, if the Saturn was in a very good state, definitely you have to work hard, because the Saturn didn't like the person who are not working. And he was a very disciplined, he's a very good judge. And remember the story about the Saturn when we discussed about the Sun and the Surya story? It's whatever that qualities for a Saturn is having, Saturn Graha represents the same thing. Mostly, if the Saturn was in a good position, there belongs to workers category. The longevity or obstacles, poverty, debts, the fears, any kind of the pessimism belongs to Saturn. And and the muscles will be, it becomes very dull and becomes hard when this, if you see, if your muscle, when you touch your hand, when you touch in any part of your body, if the muscle was soft, the Saturn energy was not entered in it. But if the skin becomes hard, the Saturn energy is occupied in that part of the body. You can easily identify in the old people. If you see the person who is very aged person, touch their skin, the skin becomes very hard. And there is also a difference. If there are some other old people, if you touch them, they are very soft. That means the Saturn was not occupied there energy. But if you touch the skin is very hard. Definitely the Saturn was entered that particular part of the organ. And the dry skin belongs to the Saturn. If your Saturn was not in a good state, and definitely will have suffered with the dry skin. Let's come into Rahu. Rahu is an ascending moon, as we saw already, and he is whatever the thing which is comes out of the world from the illusion. Whatever it was created by an illusion, it was like it was there, but it was not there. That kind of the thing belongs to Rahu. In the cinema related things belongs to Rahu. The people who are achieved in the cinema industry, they definitely have the good Rahu position. The Rahu energy, what it will do, it always think them to very very big way. They want to do anything. Their mind goes big. They want to do everything in a big way. Even if they imagine as a flower, they will imagine the flower in a very, very different way. Their illusion level, their imagination level was high, but it is different from the sun and the moon. They also have the dream. Belongs to the dream. That imagination is different. Moon imagination is different. Rahu imagination is illusion. They can able to create an illusion. These people have that kind of a tendency. They can able to create an illusion. Like let's come into and your most of the time the dissatisfaction, obsession, or confusion belongs to Rahu. And Ketu is a descending node, south node. Any sorrows, loss, meltons, astrologers. If your Ketu was in a good position, definitely astrology. Because these people have a tendency to look into each and every aspect in a very detailed way. They have the potential of the detectives, the spiritual writers. Okay? Ketu is a Jnana Karaka, so it as these people who travel towards in the spiritual, they always love to travel in the spiritual pathway only, most of the time. Okay, let's come into next one. Most of the time, when we open our window, we can able to see the sun, the light of the sun. But at the night, we can see the moon. So, in the Earth planet, the two grahas have the greater impact. One is the sun, another is the moon. The sun is the soul, moon is the mind. So then, let's come into the Mercury. Mercury is the thinking mind. When it comes in your body, one is holding the Chandra, another is the Surya. If the both of the things are not balanced, you will go this way or you will go this way. What is it? Your mind is not balanced. Your imbalance becomes slowly increase. Mercury is the thinking mind. Venus is the desire. Mars is the action. If the Mars was not good in your Jataka, they are not able to perform. They can think, but they cannot able to perform that. If your Mars is in a good in your Jataka, they can able to do an action. One very simple example. You planned already. You want to build a home, so that is your imagine. That is your dream. You draw it in your. You make it as a digital diagram. Also, everything was ready in your hand. But if the Mars was not in a good state, you are not able to perform further. Even you are not able to draw the diagram itself. Mars is that kind of an energy. It gives you the potential to do the action. If it was not in a proper state, you are not able to perform. You may draw the diagram on near back. You'll be able to building them back 20 years later. That kind of the energy the Mars will do. If you have the good Mars, you will do the action parallelly. You will do the action immediately. That kind of the quality it will be given by the Mars. Jupiter, it will give you the wisdom. You may have the n number of suggestions from number of the peoples, but you have an ability to find out which one is suit for you, which one is lead you into the right way. That kind of the wisdom is only given by the Jupiter. Saturn is the renunciation. Like he always want to work towards the God. He want to move how the universe will behave. He want to achieve the thing with all kind of the renunce. He want to achieve the thing by the renunciation only. Okay, let's move into the next one. Planet and the mind. How it will be related with the mind. The Ketu is the Jnana Karaka. It allows you to disconnect from anything. It allows you to let go of everything. What is everything let go? You won't hold an anger, you won't hold an happiness. You let go of everything. You don't want to be mixed with any kind of an emotions. You don't want to be attached with any kind of material thing in the world. It asks you to disconnect from everything. What comes into an Mercury? Mercury is an intelligence. Intelligence means very high level of intelligence. But when it was comes into one correct path, when the Jupiter was in a good position, then the Mercury intelligence with the wisdom leads you into a greater way. Saturn has always come. Saturn, the people who having the good Saturn, if you noticed, these people are very organized, structured persons. They know what to do. And they're very hard workers and they are very disciplined in their works. It comes into the moon. Moon is the mind and related with the emotion. Rahu is the one thing, it is very obsessed with anything, very obsessed with everything. It's your work, it's your relationship, or any kind of the thing in any aspects in your life. Rahu obsession is too much. And when it comes into the Mars, the courage is the biggest thing. As I already told you, if you don't have a Mars and a sufficient Mars energy in you, you are not able to perform an action. You may think in your mind. You may put different stories in your mind, but the action can only be performed if the Mars is full. Venus comes into love, luxury, all kind of the luxury items comes under. If you're enjoying in entertainment, it also comes under. Jupiter, higher wisdom, very high wisdom. If the Mercury and the Jupiter combines together, they will lead you in a very great path. And the Sun comes into the self-esteem. These people are majestic, and the self-esteem is the prominent one for the Sun. Okay, let's move on to another thing. Zodiac we already saw. We saw this. Okay, let's see the Uttarayana and Dakshayana. Why we need to know about this? When the sun moves from the Makara Rasi, when the sun moves from the Makara Rasi to Mithuna Rasi, these 6 months are called as the Uttarayana. That means the sun is towards the north. But when it comes into the Kadaka Rasi to the moon is moving towards the south. If you heard about the Mahabharata story, Bhishma waited for the Uttarayana to come. Why? When the Uttarayana day started, according to the yoga, when the Uttarayana day started, the lower energy chakras won't activate well. The upper energy chakras is activate very well. So what is the lower chakra? Lower chakras means your lower part of the chakras. There is no higher and the lower in terms of and status. So lower chakras means your Manipura, Swadhisthana, Muladhara. This will very highly activated during the period of the Dakshinayana. But when the Uttarayana appeared, the upper chakras, your Anadaka, Vishukti, Agna, and the Turiyan, this will be activated at the time of the Uttarayana. Why he wants to achieve that? There is a different reasons, but one simple reason is when the energy level is started from the Anataka to upper level, their wisdom level is high. They can able to reach the moksha. So that's why the people believe to leave their body during the Uttarayana periods. And then moves into mapping of the planets. This is about when there are the 12 hours. When we'll see that in the later, when based on the lagna, how the houses was mapped. Okay. Based on the bhavas, we know that when the lagna is your first bhava, imagine this is your lagna. This is your lagna. Then what it will represent? First house represent yourself, your physical body, your general characteristics will be represented by the first house. Then the second house is your wealth, family, and the speech. Third is your sibling and the courage. Fourth is your mother, your peace, happiness, your education. This is education and the comfort. Fifth house is the children, pain, talent, emotion. Sixth house is an enemies, obstacle, disease, accident. Seventh is your relationship, spouse, and partners. Eighth is longevity, trouble. This is also occult one. And the ninth house is your guru, father, luck, fortune. This is the dharma, dharmasthana, and the work, career, power, status by 10. 11 is the income. 12th is the all kind of your losses, donations, spirituality, and your any kind of an expense represented by the 12th bhava. Okay, this is the comparison of the South Indian and the North Indian chart. We already learned about how we can place these numbers in the North Indian chart. For this one, in the South Indian chart, we know that this is the Mesha. Okay, this is the Mesha. This is the Rishabha. This is the Miduna. Likewise, it becomes the Meena. This is the standard one, right? The Rashi is the standard one. All the zodiac sign is the standard one. But your Lagna will be rotated. Correct. Wherever your Lagna was start, that will be rotated. But here, that becomes a little bit tricky. Your Lagna is started here. This is your Lagna all the time. But the zodiac sign will be rotated. If you are not able to understand this, see this in our classes. We elaborately describe this one. Anybody have doubts in this? How to plot the North Indian chart? You know, right? There was no doubts. Why I insist to learn about this? Because in some of the books you may come across with the North Indian chart. In sometimes the author release an article based on a North Indian chart. That time, at least you have to understand what they are trying to say, right? Otherwise, it doesn't matter. Both the things are represent the same thing, but how they plot is the different. Here, the zodiac sign is the permanent one. Here, the zodiac sign will rotate, but here the houses is permanent. This is always the first house. This is always the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10, 11. What is it? Okay, this is always the first house. But when comes into the South Indian chart, your zodiac sign is permanent. Your Lagna, it will be different based on the Rashi. But here, that is the difference. Okay? But if you want to learn about the North Indian chart, tell me. I will tell you in detail very late. Okay? It comes into the horoscope. Horoscope, when you are born, what is the position of the planets in the sky? Why this is much important? Because when you draw your birth chart, right, there are three important things everybody will ask you: date of birth, your place of birth, and your gender. The date of birth and the place of birth is very much important. Sorry, date of birth, place of birth, time of birth. These three things are very much important. If you give me the date of birth and without the time, not able to draw anything. If you're not to give you the place of birth, we can able to draw, but the grahas will be different. For example, if you give me the date of birth, now it is 3:10. Okay, 3:10 p.m. one child was born in Tamil Nadu. And 3:10, one child was born in Punjab. One child was born in Australia. If you compare against all the chart, there is definitely the difference will be there. That's why the place of birth is important. It's mentioning that when you are born from, it's a map of the heavens at the moment you are born from the viewpoint of the earth, at the birth coordinates of the place you are. That's very much important. Based on whatever the details we get, what is the date of birth, time of birth, place of birth? Then the 12 zodiac belt, we position the planets based on that is a snapshot of when you are. That becomes your birth chart. So we already know every house is having the 30 degree. Okay, when comes into the sun sign, moon sign, and the rising sign. Sun sign is where the sun was placed in your Jataka. Moon sign is where the moon was placed in your Jataka. So moon sign is becomes your Rashi. And the Lagna is wherever it is your first house. That becomes your Lagna, rising sun, ascendant, all are same. Why we need to understand, giving very much importance to your Lagna. Lagna is you. Lagna representing the Jataka's characters. Whatever the Jataka's general characteristics, whatever, however he or she looks, how he will behave. Everything will be defined in the Lagna itself. It is a definition of you. So that's why the Lagna is you. Moon is represent the moon Rashi, that is the Rashi represents the current situation. How is your mind will work? That is represented by the Rashi. Sun sign, wherever in the 12 zodiac sign, wherever the sun was placed, that becomes your birth month also. Okay, let's move on. Okay, when you see this, the Aries, it starts in the April 14 to 15, goes next May 15 to June 15. When the sun was started here, it started journey at the April 14. Next goes on 30 days. When it goes in here, April 14 to March 14 to April 14, it's in the Meena. So that means the Uttarayana starts from January 14 to July 16, and the Dakshinayana starts July 16 to December 16. Sorry, January 14. This is the comparison of the dates between the Western and the Vedic sun sign. Depends that the day is only a little bit different. Okay, this is the basic thing you have to remember all the time. Whenever you see the calendar, you have to understand what is the date. Notice the tithi. Are we in a Shukla Paksha or Amra Paksha? That means you are in the phase of the full moon or you are in the phase of the wax moon. New. There are the 15 tithis, 16 tithis altogether, but the Purnima Amavasya counted as the one. If it was the somebody call me. Okay, the 15 tithis, and the 15th tithi is the special because the Purnima and Amavasya combined together. If it is in the Shukla Paksha, that is the Purnima. It's a Krishna Paksha or Amara Paksha, that is the Amavasya. So the first tithi start with the Prathama, Vidya, Tritiya, Chaturthi, Panchami, Sashti, Saptami, Ashtami, Navami, Dasami, Ekadashi, Dwadashi, Trayodashi, Chaturdashi, the Purnima and Amavasya. So the entire month is 15 days, it goes like this one. Okay, there was an importance given in the Trayodasi and Chaturdashi, because in between any one of the day, Shivaratri will come for every month between these days. Mostly it will come in the Trayodasi if the days was not. Sometimes it will go to the Chaturdashi also, but in between these days, you'll see the calendar, Shivaratri will come for every month. If that was in the February month, if you see, this was in when you see the calendar, it was in the February month. Then this time, it was in the Kumbha Rasi, the sun in the Kumbha Rasi. That time the Chaturdashi or Trayodasi was coming. This is the Mahashivratri. When the Kumbha Rasi along with the Trayodasi was coming, then that becomes your Mahashivratri. Okay. Now we learned about something about the planets. Let's move on into the Kendra. What is the Kendra? When you see in the Jataka, imagine you are standing under the sky. The top of the sky, this is your prominent place. 1, 4, 7, 10. And this is all peripherals. This is all your side motion. This is the energy you will get. There are the two important energy centers you will come. One is your Kendra, that is your 1, 4, 7, 10. Then another is the 1, 5, 9. That is your first Trikona for 1, 5, 9. This is the another energy center where you receive the energy very well. Other 2, 3, 6, 8, 11, 12. There is also importance to 3, 6, 10 level. We'll learn that later. But this one, and the 6, 8, and the 12, and the third. The third is it's not hidden very well, but the 6 and 12 are considered as the Dostan. So based on that knowledge, we'll go back here. So this is your Kendra. Imagine this guy was having a Lagna in the Mesha. Then his 1, 4, 7, 10 becomes Mesha, Kadaka, and the Tula, Makara. This is your Kendra for that Jataka. Kendra means you will receive the prominent energy from here. Where the Graha which is residing in this Kendra will give you the more auspicious energy to the Jataka. Okay, let's consider into the succeeding houses. What is that meaning? Succeeding to the Kendra, that becomes your Anafara. If the Kendra was giving the 100% auspicious energy to you, Anafara will give you 50 to 75% of the auspicious energy. That is a succeeding, succeeding to your Kendra. That becomes your 2, 5, 8, 11. Let's move on to the cadent house. This is the corner houses. Imagine this is your Lagna. And this is your third house, 6th, 9th, and the 12th house. This is the corner house, Apoklima. Apoklima will have the lesser energy level. When it comes into the Kendra and the Anapara, Apoklima will receive the lesser energy. But the story get twisted when it was combined with the other properties. We'll see that in the later slide. Okay, Trikona. There are three different. There are the different Trikonas was there. First, understand the first one. That is your Dharma Trikona 1, 5, and 9. It represents you on 1. This is your Lagna. 5th, it's about your child. 9. What is the 9th will represent? Any? 9.
Dharma, father.
Father. Yes. That is why it's called as a Dharma Trikona, Lagna 1. And the 5th is represent your Putra, children, and the fame and the fortune is represented by the 4th. Then this is your Dharma. This is the first Trikona form. So whenever you see the Jataka, the prominent thing you have to see in your Jatakam is which Tithi he or she was born in, and what is the Yoga Karana, and followed by the Kendra and the Trikona. When you see this one, you will have a general idea about what kind of the Jataka you are seeing. It then comes into the Upachaya. Okay, 3, 6, 10, 11. I already told you, you will have the different understanding about the 3 and 11. 3, 6, 10, 11 is the Upachayas. When the Graha, which is residing in the Upachayas, will have the good quality, even though if it was an inauspicious planet, that planet, the inauspicious will be reduced, auspicious will become average, 3, 6, 10, 11. Okay, then we'll move on into the Dusthana. The third is also, if you consider this one as a Lagna, and the third is also the Dusthana only. But it will be partially Dusthana, that's why it was not considered. Mostly, prominently considered 6, 8, and 12. If the Graha was placed in the 6, 8, and 12, it will give you this peripheral energy only. It will give you the light energy only. Whatever the Graha which is going to give you the good energy to you, it won't give you. For example, if the sun was in the sun was in the 12th house. Whatever the sun which is going to give you, it won't give you because the energy was already hidden. The sun represents your inner ego. The sun represents your dream and majestic and kind of the energy, kind of the majestic energy to be given by the sun. The individual may not get that. So because the energy was hidden. Okay, imagine there was the Saturn here. Your inauspicious will be reduced, but the Saturn was here. What about if the Saturn was not in a good position? This is not considered as a good position. When the Saturn is in the 12th, the Saturn is not in a good position. So whichever the energy which is given by the Saturn may not give. If considered you have a yoga only based on the Saturn, but the Saturn was in the 12th house, it won't give you because already the energy was hidden. Okay. Let's move on from the Dusthana. Okay, this is the combination of everything. That's why I told you when there was a Dusthana also, which is having the different understanding, and it is combined together. Why? Imagine this is your Lagna. Mesha is your Lagna. So Mesha comes under the first house comes under the Kendra, is also comes under the Trikona. Then the second house is the Anapara. third house is the apoklima and upachaya. Here is an interesting point. Upachaya give you the auspiciousness, apoklima reduce the auspiciousness. So then you will give the average auspiciousness here, Kendra. Fourth house is the Kendra only. Fifth house is the Trikona and the Phanapara. Phanapara, if you're succeeding house, definitely it will give you the 50%, 50 to 75% of the auspiciousness, plus the Trikona. Trikona is the full auspiciousness. And the sixth is the Dusthana, Upachaya and Apoklima. This is always the interesting point. Among all the things, this is the interesting point because sixth is the hidden house, that is a Dusthana, but it also becomes an Upachaya and Apoklima. Even though it was going to give you the more inauspiciousness, but the Upachaya going to give you the auspiciousness. That's why it will be reduced at inauspicious may reduce at least 25%. That comes in seventh house is the Kendra, Dusthana and the Phanapara is the eighth house, Trikona and the Apoklima. Because here it was a ninth house, inauspiciousness was supposed to be there, but the Trikona increases the auspiciousness. Kendra and Upachaya, the 10th house will give you the very good auspiciousness. Phanapara and the Upachaya, 11th house. And the 12th house, Apoklima and Dusthana. Apoklima and Dusthana. That's why I told you whenever there was a planet in your 12th house, it will represent you expense, whatever the expense which you are going to do in your life. It will be represented in the 12th house. Any kind of the expense you see in your birth chart itself. What is your 12th house graha? And what kind of the expenses you are doing in your life? For example, if you have a Saturn in your 12th house, then you have a Saturn in your, let's have different time. So you have Mars in your 12th house. Then definitely Mars represents who? Anybody? Mars represents who?
Mars,
Or which place?
please.
Mars represent anybody? Any sibling? Yes or no? No?
Yes.
You will definitely have some kind of expenses in your life to your siblings. See that, whichever the graha, consider if you have a Mercury here, definitely you will spend the expense, your expense will go towards study, your expense will go towards learning. And you see, if it was in the moon, definitely you will spend the money for the mind pleasure, for recovering rejuvenating yourself. You definitely the expenses are related to that only. You see your budget and compare against that. What kind of the expenses which I am doing in my life?
Is that Mars health?
Mars?
Blood related problems.
Hmm,
Blood related problems.
Yes, yes. Mars means the blood one. Yeah. True. Okay, let's have the important understanding about the planets again. Mula Trikona. Why we need to okay, before we know about the Mula Trikona, I thought okay, let's have it. Okay, here. Mesha and Vrikshaba, the owner is the Mars. Rishabha and the Tula, owner is the Chukra. Gemini and the Virgo, owner is the Mercury. Kadaka is the Chandra, Simha is the Surya, and the Danu and the Pisces, that is Meena is the Guru, Makara and the Kumbha is the Saturn. Except the Sun and the Moon, other grahas have holding the two houses, owning two houses, except the Sun and the Moon. Okay, then based on this understanding, let's come back here. Okay, why we need to understand they have the houses or not? If the Mars was in the Aries and the Vrikshika, it was sitting in its own house. It was not sitting in anybody's house. So it feels comfortable. When the Chukra was sitting in the own house, the Rishabha or the Tula feel very much comfortable. If the Mercury was in the Gemini or the Virgo, feel much more comfortable because it was living in its own house. Same goes for other planets as well. But even then, Even though the Mars was having the two planets, it feels very much comfortable at one point. That considered as the Mulatrikona. Mars will be much more comfortable in Mesha. Chandra is comfortable in the Rishabha. Remember, this is the Venus house. This is the Venus house. Chandra house is, oh, it's this one. Here is Surya. Chandra house is here. But Chandra, I told you the reason also why the Chandra Mula Trikona becomes the Venus. Because the Rohini star is in the Rishabha Rashi. That's why the Chandra feels very much at home in the Rishabha Rashi. And the Surya in the same house. Buddhan, it's having two houses. One is the Mithuna and another is the Kanni. But it feels very much comfortable in the Kanni Rashi. And Chukra, that is the Venus, it's in the Tula. Guru having the two houses, one is the Dhanush, another is the Meena. But among these two, it feels very much comfortable in the Dhanush. Shani will be very much comfortable in the Kumbha. Okay, let's come into the Grahas exaltation and debilitation point. Exaltation point means it is at the very good auspicious level. Exaltation means 100% auspiciousness. Debilitation point means the auspiciousness is fully reduced. When Surya was in the sun was exalted at the Mesh Rasi, that is the 10th degree. The same debilitation at the Tula, that is also 10 degree. Chandra, Rishabha, 3 degrees. Vrikshika, debilitated in the Vrikshika, 3 degree. Mangal, that is the Shibha, that is Makara, 20 degree exalted, but it will be depleted. Mars was exalted here, depleted here. Then Guru exalted here, depleted here. Buddha exalted here, depleted here. Here. Venus exalted here, depleted in Kanni. That's why we are going to see the same thing here. But which degree you have? This is the exaltation point, debilitation point. The degree also you have to remember. Buddha comes 15 degrees at Kanni and debilited in Meena 15 degrees. Guru Kadaka 5 degrees, Makara also 5 degrees. Debilitation point. Shukra exalted Meena 27 and Kanni 27 degrees debilitation. Sunny Tula 20 degree exalted, Mesha 20 degree debilited. And Rahu Mithuna Rasi and the Dhanu. Ketu Dhanu exalted, Mithuna debilitated. Okay, let's come into the Shatbala. Quickly overthrow because we have very few minutes. When it comes into the Shatbala, there are the 6 components will come. Why we need to understand the Shatbala? Because we have to understand the auspiciousness of the planet, the significance of the planets in our life, and the strength. So all the things can be understood by the Shatbala. The Sthana Bala, the positional strength, Dikbala, directional strength, Kalabala, that is the temporal strength. Jeshta Bala means motion, whether it is moves in the retrograde motion or in the direct motion. Jeshta Bala will be increased towards the retrograde motion. Naisarika Bala, that is a natural strength. Dikbala, when you are seeing, when the Graha was seeing aspecting other planet, what is the strength? So these are the 6 components. When it was summed up all together, that will give you the Shatbala value. So the first one, Sthana Bala, leggings are divided into 5 divisions. Ucha Bala, Saptavarjaga Bala, Ojo Rukma Rashiyamsa Bala, Kendradipati Bala, Drekna Bala. When summed up together, it gives you the Sthana Bala. Ucha Bala means wherever the Graha was exalted. That gives you the Ucha Bala. Okay, one quick question. When in which Rasi Mars is exalted?
Makara.
Makara. And Venus exalted at which Rasi?
Meena.
Meena, right?
Yes.
What do you
Yes.
do?
Meena.
Awesome. So that's why all the grahas is exalted some rasis, right? That represents your Ucha Bala. Saptavarjaga Bala will include the different your 4 Vadamsha. There are the 7 different Amsha Bala all together, they combined, then it will give you one value that becomes your Sapta Varshaka Bala. Ojugma Rashi Amsha Bala means there are the 2 female planets, one is the Venus and another is the Moon. Don't consider it as the person energy level. Venus and the Moon holding the most of the female energy. Mercury is the neuter one. Other planets are male, considered as the male. So when it was in the second 2 odd numbers, male planets will get energized. When it was in this even number, female planet will get more energized. Kendradipati Bala, we know that 1, 4, 7, 10. Based on a graha which is placed in 1, 4, 7, 10, the auspiciousness will be increased or decreased. Trekana Bala means one Rashi is holding the 30 degrees. So every 30 degrees divided into 10 degrees. First is for the first, if it was placed in the first 10 degrees, the graha is male planet that will have the good auspiciousness. Second part goes to female planets. Third, which is the neuter one, the 21 to 30 degree goes to the neuter planets. That becomes your Drekanabala. So all together you'll combine, will give you the Sthanabala. When it comes into the Dikbala, it is based on the Kendra 1, 4, 7, 10. First house you go. Okay, if you learn about in the Vastu also, the same thing will be represent the same. 1, 4, 7, 10. 1 represents the east, 4 represents the 1 represents the east, 7th represents the west, that is the starting point, ending point. So sunrise, sunset. And the mid-heaven that is in the 10th house. 4th house is when the sun is opposite night. So if it was in the first house, when the sun was rise, that is in the eastern point, Jupiter and Mercury. If the first house, it is the Jupiter, and you have the Jupiter, or if you have the Mercury, then you have the Dikbala for that graha. If in the 4th house you have the Moon and the Venus, Dikbala will be highly increased. 7th house, if you have Saturn, Dikbala will be increased. 10th house, that is your Sun and the Mars, that is in the mid-heaven. If the Sun and Mars was there in the 10th house, then the Dikbala will be increased. There are 6 subsets of the Kala Bala, that is the Natunatna Bala, Paksha Bala, Tribanga Bala, Varsha Masha, Dinahora Bala. Okay, we'll see that in our next class. We will have too many things to revise also. We'll do that. I will quickly finish it in the very next class. I know I'm going very fast. Is anybody can able to follow, right? No, I want to decrease the speed. Or you didn't understand anything? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes, we are
Yes,
able
yes,
to
sir.
follow, Vanita.
Oh, that's awesome then. So we'll revise this remaining things in the next week. Okay.
Yes.
Any doubts till now?
No.
lots, Anita, we'll clear it next week.
Yeah, sure. Okay then. We'll see you all next week then.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Anita. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.